So you can ask me any DJ related questions. If I know the answer, I'll let you know. And if I don't know, I'm going to let you know that I don't know. And we're going to see if someone in the chat possibly can help us out and has the answer. Just going to move my screen a little bit closer here. You can't see it anyway. All right. News Daily. Tito Morales, straight from the DMV. DJ Damien, Chicago. Narachem, good to see you. Okay, let's get into it. I'm going to move my chat app a little bit closer to that camera. I think that looks better. There we go. So, no, it's not too early for questions, so hop right in with your questions, your DJ-related questions. I'm here for it. Like I said, I just came in. I was expecting to be here a little bit early, but we had a late birthday dinner for the wifey. Was her birthday last Wednesday while we were live streaming. And today we had some time to celebrate. And I did. By the way, in the meantime, let me quickly see if Mixcloud is good. Yes. Twitch is good. Kick is good. I think Twitter is good. Facebook is up because Narachem is on Facebook. Avinash is on LinkedIn. So I think everyone has the option to come in. I started late, so people still have to get the messaging. Hopefully that worked because I started my streaming a little bit different compared to normally. Cito was good. I'm fine today. Thank you. Was a little bit of a hectic day, but in a good way. And yeah, man, I'm full, satiated. We had fun during the dinner, but I had to hop in for this right here. Congratulations. My anniversary is July 1st. 16 years. All right. Raul Hernandez. Yes. And Damien, I appreciate that. Thank you. Cito with that subscription 4 months in a row. I appreciate that a lot. One thing I saw yesterday, but I didn't have time to really dive into it. I saw there was finally streaming support for the CDJ 3000. At the moment, only through Beatport, but that's a start. That is a start. I think it's only for the CDJ 3000. Beatport is the first. So I hope that means that BeatSource will be next. That would be amazing to have the option to do that on the CDJ 3000 as well. Not that streaming is my main source for music, but it's a great addition, especially if you're playing at a party where you might be expected to play some stuff you normally don't play or just don't have in your collection. Being able to have access to all of that extra music is amazing. I love having that option in Serato, in Rekordbox, in Algorithm DJ, basically all the DJ software, and in some of the Denon hardware. It was working in the SE5000 and 6000. So to see that come to Pioneer's just top of the line, top tier stuff like the CDJ 3000, that's a nice thing indeed. What are a few things that beginner DJs do that more experienced DJs would frown upon? I like the question, even though I'm not sure if I have actually I do have an answer. I'm just not sure if it applies strictly to beginner DJs. But what I would like to say is, I think there's a little bit too much of an emphasis on how other DJs might view you, because I see this often where people ask me, hey, is it okay if I take my controller to my gig, or how will other DJs judge me for that? Where my answer would be, you're not playing for the acceptance of those other DJs. And a lot of DJs can be very snobby, especially when they've been playing gigs on like a nice set of CDJs. All of a sudden, they're too good for a controller. I'm not of that same mindset. So to me, it's use what you want to use, what makes you feel most comfortable. So just imagine, if you know for a fact that you can do your best on a pretty entry-level controller, something like a DDJ 400 or something like that. Or maybe you have something like a Hercules, what's it called? The Impulse, the 300, something like that. Just entry-level controller. But you know that controller top to bottom. You've practiced on that thing for years now, and you rock a killer set on that. But because you don't want to be judged by other DJs, you now play on a CDJ set that you haven't used before. I mean, you'll probably make it work, but you would have probably done a better set on that controller. I would say if you know that's going to make you feel more comfortable, use that. But okay, that's not the exact question, but I just know that I see some DJs worry about how other DJs might view them, and I would not give that too much thought. That being said, there are certain rules and guidelines that you have to learn, and that especially beginner DJs a lot of times don't really know yet. My main thing is, and I've experienced that like I won't say 1,000, hundreds of times, is that beginner DJs often feel that the only way that they can prove themselves is by playing as many hits as possible, even when they're opening up. So you walk into a club, you're playing prime time, or not even prime time, but you're playing not the first slot, but a later slot. I always come in early. I want to be there at least like an hour and a half before I play, because I want to make sure I hear what's being played before I do my set, so I don't play doubles. You walk in early. The club is still pretty empty, and there's a DJ playing, a beginner DJ who gets to do an opening set, and that DJ is now banging out hit after hit after hit. That's a rookie mistake. First off, you're not impressing people that way because the crowd isn't there, and that's not what you're supposed to do when you have that time slot. So if you're there as the warm-up DJ, you're supposed to play a warm-up set. And a lot of time beginners don't really know how to do that yet. I see something else here. That's a good one, even though I haven't noticed that. And mind you, I'm answering this not because I say that the experienced DJs would frown upon it, but just to give beginner DJs tips on what not to do. So Cito says, using too many effects. Yes, I do believe that's something that beginners might do when they're just getting used to the equipment. Hey, my controller has all of these effects. This mixer has all of these effects. Let me use all of them. And a lot of times that's going to be overkill. It's going to be too much. I don't hear it too often, but it is a thing that happens. Now, one thing I would say that I would add that has to do with the audio, and I feel it is important, is beginner DJs still need to learn to check their levels. So what I mean by that, they might have one song playing at a certain volume level, and then they bring the next song in, and that next song is either here or here. So not loud enough or way louder. And then the next one is a different volume. So they're not paying enough attention to the actual sound coming out of the speakers. That is a little bit of a rookie mistake, because that is very important. You need to pay attention and keep a steady level. Of course, you can read the metering on the mixer. That can help, but you got to use your ears as well. Another one that I see here is a beginner mistake. Nevdog Music says this: beginner mistake, not understanding reading the crowd. Got you. I'm not sure if I would call that a mistake. Probably I would refer to that as just a lack of knowledge. So being ignorant to the fact that that is something that you're supposed to do. Just imagine if you've always played at home and always practiced at home and you have no experience playing in front of a crowd, you're probably not even aware of, okay, I'm in front of a crowd now, I'm supposed to read the reaction. So it is a beginner mistake in that case. Yes, I understand. So rookies, beginners, you practice the technique at home, but when you're playing at home, you're not playing before a crowd. If you're playing before a crowd, their reaction to what you play can dictate what you play next. That's what reading the crowd is all about. If they give you a positive reaction, it means that they like what you play and you might want to continue down that road. If you throw on a tune and people actively stop dancing, or you just don't get a lot of reactions. Like if you don't get a lot of reactions, they might not enjoy it that much, but if they're all still dancing, it's cool. If they stop, if you play a tune and all of a sudden you see that half of the crowd decides that it's time to hit the bar, then you might be going down a wrong path, and then you try something else. Reading the crowd is very important, and when you're just starting out, you might not know that you're supposed to do that. In that case, it's a mistake. And if you do know how to do that, you're supposed to do that, but you don't know how to do that, in that case, I won't call it a mistake, but just something you still have to learn. NevDog, I appreciate that feedback. DJ Six is here. Was good, fam. And we got the swell Amadelo in the building from Sweden. Salute to you. I want to say neighbor. I mean, it's not next to each other, but we're pretty close. And I think there was another one. Cito said, in my experience, DJing indeed attracts a lot of super snobby people compared to other hobbies I had. Do you agree? And if so, why do you think that is? I mean, it's not just DJing. And within DJing, I have run into certain people. You have a couple of different levels. So you have certain people that are just snobby because they're on a power trip. So maybe those are DJs that play at certain places and they feel that they're all that. So it's just ego. I think that happens in a lot of different branches, not just DJing. Then you have like the, what should we call them? Like the quote unquote purists. The DJs who tell you that you're not a real DJ unless you've played with turntables and who look down on anyone who doesn't. That is something we see in DJing. I don't know where that comes from. I just know it's not something that strictly happens in DJing, though. You have it with a lot of different career paths that you can go down, that people who are higher up do feel that they're above people below them. I think that's unfortunately something that is human nature as well. Let's see. Did I miss? I think I missed one or two. Let me just run down real quick. Too many effects, yes. And NevDog is coming in from the 6. I see you. Not understanding reading crowd. Yes. Yes, we got that one. Oh, there we go. T-Babs. Yes, a classic. Loading the wrong deck on the current deck when playing. I did that too a few times. So yes, it is a rookie mistake. I don't think that is something that's looked down upon by other DJs, but it is definitely something that probably most of us have gone through. If you started in the digital era, then yes, most likely you loaded the wrong deck because you loaded a song onto the current deck that was playing. If you come from the earlier era, like myself, we had something similar to that. And trust me, I've done the digital mistake. I've made the digital mistake myself. But in the vinyl era, we did the same thing, but then you didn't load a song onto a track, onto one of your decks. But what would happen is I threw in a new banger. The crowd went absolutely crazy. They were feeling it. I was feeling it. I turned around. Within like, let's say 10, 20 seconds, I found that next joint. I was like, yeah, this is the next one. Let's go. I went to the turntable, lifted up the needle, and all of a sudden it was all quiet. Yeah, I picked up the wrong needle. I picked up the needle of the record that was currently playing. So that is the same thing as loading to the wrong deck. It happens, and I think every single DJ, no matter what type of equipment we use, we will all make that mistake at least once. I think I've done it once or twice with vinyl, and I'm pretty sure that I've done that with software once or twice as well. It doesn't happen too many times, but for instance, I never used the lock deck feature, where you have to stop your record before you can load a new song, because I want to be on the go. So I always have my stuff playing. So yeah, then that can happen. It hasn't really happened. I think it happened to me once just by pressing buttons and loading. Before that, when I was using Final Scratch, that was before Serato, I didn't have a shortcut for that yet, so I was physically dragging songs into the deck. And I remember one time I was dragging a song and I was supposed to go to the right deck, but instead of going straight to that right deck, I kind of took a little turn over my left deck. And unfortunately, I let it go while I was hovering above the left deck, so it bang loaded it there. Yeah, man. Chris on the mix says loading to the wrong deck is a DJ's rite of passage. Yeah, man. Like I said, we've all been there. All right. So that's a classic right there. And is there anything else before I go to the next question? So Damien says, I forgot a few times to lock the decks. I don't think that's a mistake. That's like a choice. Like I said, I never used that load deck feature because I just hated the fact that I had to like stop before I could load something new, especially when I'm playing and I have one track playing and I load or I mix in the new track. A lot of times I immediately want to go to instant doubles on the previous deck so I can do some tricks. If I have to stop the record first before I can load it, that doesn't work. So I want to just have everything playing so I never lock my decks. But that does open the door for possibly loading in a wrong into the wrong deck. It can happen. So maybe there's more replies to this, but I'll go to that second question first. And the ask is, how can I get my setup, audio video, into Discord using video calls? The gear is an S11, Rain 12s or a Rev 7, a Mackie Pro FX mixer, 2 MacBook Pros, one for DJing, one for OBS or Discord. And the intention is to do one-on-one DJ tip classes with some friends. Sorry, this was long. Now, that was not long at all. Let me think. Audio, video. You didn't name all your DJ gear. You did not name any of the video gear. So how are you recording yourself? Because you want to get video into Discord as well, but what are you using for video? Maybe you can add that first. Then again, let me see. Because my answer would be how I would probably do it, but that might not work for you because you might have different gear. I have a couple of different options. I have my Elgato Pro Link. Is it the normal Pro Link? I have an Elgato Pro Link with 4 HDMI inputs in my studio computer, so I can connect cameras directly to my computer. I should be able to open those in any type of video conference software. Next to that, I have my ATEM Mini Pro. And the ATEM Mini Pro would be a perfect option as well to just connect cameras and audio straight to that device and connect that to my computer via USB. And that would allow me to do the same thing. Okay, you're using the C922, that's the webcams with USB-C hubs. Okay, so you got webcams. I mean, if I could be wrong, but basically in most of the video conference software, now mind you, I haven't used Discord for any type of video chatting, but I believe you should be able to choose a video source and an audio source, right? So in this case, you need to choose your webcam as the video source, and I don't know how you're connecting your audio to your computers. If you have an external audio interface for that, or no, of course not. You just connect your S11 or Rev 7. Go directly to the computer. That's going to be your audio source. Yeah, I think you probably should be able to just select those, especially with webcams, because they will just show up as a USB device within the most of those video conference softwares. Is video mixing making a comeback? I have no idea. I did do a video set for the Sunday sessions a couple of weeks ago, and I will be doing one in the next couple of weeks. So I'll probably add that once a month. So I'll have at least one vinyl session a month, one video session, and the rest just all sorts of sessions for my Sunday sessions. But the Certified Bangers mixes are coming soon as well. But I have not paid attention if it's like making a comeback and if a lot of DJs are doing like video mixes. Damien Chicago. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, but again, I haven't used Discord. So chat, do any of you have experience with using Discord to do like video chats with also with your DJ gear connected? Let me know. Vinyl Touch, salute. King Complex, what's good? What's good? What's good? Juan, I see you. And I'll get to your questions. Let me just go back to the top because I'm going back and forth through the list right now, which is not the best way to do it because then I end up missing questions. Ken Ark said, are all scratches like chirps and boomerangs 4/4 timing? Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I don't know if there's a simple answer for that. I mean, the technique itself, no, not really, because you could apply them to different timing as well. Dang. Because most of us are strictly using 4/4 whenever we're DJing and even scratching. So for most DJs, that is what they're doing all the time. But that doesn't mean that the technique itself has to be done that way. So for instance, with chirps, you're doing your baby scratch back and forth and just opening and closing that fader to make it sharp. You do that back and forth. You're doing that to the rhythm of the beat. You could have a 3/4 rhythm timing as well and still find a way to make your chirp work on that. But I don't know if there's another way to properly explain that. Let's see. In your opinion, what are some pros and cons of IT? Is that what it says? Of it? I'm not very vocal on the mic, and I just wanted to add something to the room besides 2 and 3 of the same things on multiple TV things. Wait, am I reading the question wrong? In your opinion, what are some pros and cons of it? That's what I'm seeing. Oh, that was a reply to, oh, I'm sorry. That's a reply to the, you're adding on to your video mix question. My bad. So is video mixing making a comeback? In your opinion, what are the pros and cons of it? I got you. Sorry. I don't know. In what situation? For live streaming, I think it's a cool addition. For live sets, I'm not sure. Like years ago when you were first able to do it with Serato video. No, actually before that, sorry. Before Serato, I already did some video mixes. And in that case, I was using separate video and DJ software. It was cool to do, but one thing I did notice is that a lot of people would spend more time actually looking at the videos instead of just having a good time enjoying the music. I think a video mix in a club as a set. No, Brian, I got you. I just had to connect the dots for a second. Yeah, so for a normal set, I don't know. I've done a couple of sets where it worked and it was just cool, but I don't know if it really added a lot. So I think for some people, it's a cool nostalgic thing when they can also see a video. I think that could be a pro. A con can be that some people are actually distracted and now are starting to spend more time looking at the videos instead of just having a good time. But overall, I think it's a cool thing. And like I said, for my live streams, I'm going to do it once a month just to change things up. I know a lot of DJs who do video every time they stream. I'm not sure I should ask some of them if their audience tunes in for the video side of it or just for the mix, if they wouldn't care. If it was just audio or audio and video. What are you rocking for studio monitors? Sound good. So currently right here, this is my first pair of KRKs. These are Rocket 8s, and I think it's the Mark, damn it. Not Mark, damn it, but wow, I forgot. I haven't had these for a very long time. I've been using the same studio monitor since 1998, and that is a pair of Yamaha NS10s. I still have those. Those were my main studio monitors for a long time, and they work, but they're not the greatest sounding monitors if you're DJing, even though like a ton of my DJ practicing was done on those monitors. And before that, I had two very little JBL speakers that were my speakers. After the NS10s, which I still have, I added on a pair of Pioneer speakers. Those are reference studio speakers, and they are called, and it's crazy that I'm that bad with my names today. What are they called again? I think they're called the RM7s by Pioneer. Love those. Very nice. But I wanted something with a little more oomph, a little more power to them. So I added these KRKs here in the studio. I don't know if they're going to be the greatest reference studio monitors, but I like to have a couple. So I still have to place my NS10s next to it. So I have two totally different sounding monitors. But these are very dope when I'm DJing because they do give me a very nice amount of sound. I will do a video on these eventually. Excuse me. Oh, let's see. And King Complex had a question about Restream. Is Restream easy to set up and use within OBS? Yeah, because you don't use it within OBS. That's the easy part. Basically, on Restream, you just get one stream key. You add that to OBS. So whenever I want to stream, I open OBS, and whenever I'm ready to go, I just have to start streaming, and that's going to send the stream straight to Restream. And in Restream on the website, I have that open here. Let me see if I can actually just bring that in for you. Hold up. Let's see. I have to add a window. Oh, wait, I have a screen here. Let's make this screen my Restream. No, not the Restream chat, the Restream page. Okay. Let's see if we can make this work. Can we make this work? Okay, what happened here? I opened it up and I'm not seeing anything. That's the wrong one. Why did I just move that? Hold up. Where did it go? It's underneath? Oh, give me a sec. I need to see what happened to that. Is this the one? Looking for my screen. Let me lock a couple of these up before I start to mess everything up. Is that locked? So hold up. Let me just lock a couple of these so I don't move stuff around. Okay. This is you. It's not moving into screen. Yeah, there you are. Why am I not seeing you? I should be seeing it now. It's showing it here. Yes. Fighting OBS for a minute. So I want to get this open so I can just show you. I just closed my cam for a second because I want to see. This is you. What is it showing? That makes no sense. What is it doing? Normally this works, but it's not working. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to open a new one. Window capture. Let's go. New. There's my chat app. That's the Restream chat app, by the way. I talk about that all the time, but you never see it. Restream has its own chat app, and what that does is, as you can see, it collects the chat messages from the different platforms. Unfortunately, not everything. So Mixcloud is not in here. Twitter is not in here. Kick is not in there yet. But you can see right here that my YouTube is in here. Twitch is in there. Facebook is in there. LinkedIn works here. So that makes it a little bit easier for me to see what's happening in the chat. But that was not what we were looking for. We were looking for this window right here. Yes, thank you. All right. So this right here is my Restream window. This is just in the browser. And I can choose where I want to send my stream to. So currently, Twitch is on, Twitter is on, DJ TLM TV on YouTube is on, Facebook is on, Mixcloud is on, LinkedIn is on. This is Kick is on. This is my old YouTube channel. I used it a couple of times for the mix streams, but after my last warning, I'm not doing that anymore. I turned IG on, but that makes no sense because I need to have a separate app open to connect to IG, and that wasn't really working last time. But from OBS, all you do is you send your stream to Restream, and in Restream right here, I can choose where I want to send my stream to. So for my mixes, I'm not sending that to LinkedIn and Facebook. That doesn't work. I don't send that to YouTube. So I'll only do Mixcloud, Twitter, and Twitch, and Kick. And they have a ton of different channels you could add. Like you can go through all of these if you use them and send them to the different ones, or you can have a custom RTMP if you have a stream key for something else. So for me, Restream is very important. It works really well. Love using that. Bring my chat back as well. There we go. That took a little bit longer. I don't know what happened to that other window capture, but that was it. So overall, it is very, very easy. Works great for me, so I love using it. And AMW DJ, I need to get my shop up and running again, and I'll get the Passion, Patience, Practice t-shirt back in there 100%. Yes. Damn, that's a chopper going low. All right, let me scroll because you added a ton in the chat while I was fighting OBS. Let's see. What did I miss? Let's see, the video is a little easier to select. They work. The audio is the issue. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. Just because I haven't used Discord yet for that. So I would have to see what the interface looks like and how you can change stuff there. What is the best way to bring in people onto your DJ live stream using OBS? I mean, while you're DJing the people listening and watching, you could bring some of them into the live stream screen live. Okay, so you want to actually see people, so people from home could be on screen. I've seen people do that, and I think a lot of times they use Zoom for that, if I'm not mistaken. So people can join in on a Zoom party. So my guess would be that you would have Zoom open on your computer, and you can select who you can see in Zoom. And probably in OBS, you just have a window capture open and you just capture the Zoom window so you can place that within your streaming screen. That's what I assume. I've never done that. But I do know there's certain DJs who were bringing in their audience. So you could see like a random, they had like a video screen with random different shots of people partying in their living room listening to the DJ. And I think they were using Zoom to do that. And so CDO has a good tip. You could look at a program like virtual audio cables to stream with Discord. If you're using Serato, there is such a feature inside Serato now as well, right? That does that, I think. And T-Babs wants to know what's up with Tidal now. Have they been updating their music library more often? I haven't paid attention. I mean, I use Tidal, but I haven't paid attention to that. Why do you ask? Did you notice anything special? Earl Whiff, I see you. I don't know if I shouted you out, but I'm shouting you out again. Earl Whiff, salute. DJ Asb, I see you. ASB in the building. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Serato does offer virtual audio. Tried that too. No luck. Yeah, Black Hole is another option. Juan Uribe, salute. And Brian Silas said, the few places I play, they don't dance. More like a lounge. I mean, for a lounge situation, I think video could be a cool addition. Just because it can add extra vibe to the room. So that might be cool. If you play every day, How don't follow, make, play, same set, same vendor. Uh, if you play every day, how don't follow, make, play, same set. I'm trying to reorganize the sentence to make it work. So is your question how to make sure that you're not playing the same set every day? Is that what I'm getting from the question, or maybe I'm reading it wrong? If that is your question, how to prevent from playing the same set every day, maybe add different music, have different folders with some different music to go to on different days. Now, of course, you're going to have your sure shots, certain songs that are hits at the current time that you know you most likely need to play. But around those tracks, maybe try to look for some other tracks, or just have a couple of different folders that you just know, okay, today I'm using this folder, and even if it has certain tracks in there, it has a remix version, so you don't play the same version. But adding more music can help for that. Just, or at least, I don't know what you used to play, what you used to DJ, but at least to have a couple of different crates to go to on different days that have some different music in there, because sometimes it can happen if you play a lot that your mind just switches to autopilot and you end up going through the same songs. I've seen a lot of DJs do that. Even DJs who played once a week. And I came to that same club like a couple of weeks in a row, and I'm hearing them do basically the exact same thing as last week. I'm like, whoa. And I know the crowd won't notice as fast. It'll take a little bit longer for them to realize, hey, that DJ is playing the same tune for the fourth time in a row. As DJs, we notice sooner. So the second week I was there, and I heard at least 3 of the same transitions I heard a week before. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, so then after this, he's going to play this. And yes, he played that. So I'm like, oh, wow, you're really just going through the motions and playing the same tunes. When you're in this vibe, you're going to play that, and that. And after that, you might go to that side. Oh, you're going to do some dancehall. You're going to play this, and that. So those DJs were just playing on autopilot. And if you're going into the same bag, you might end up with that same recipe. So maybe you have to have a different bag on you, a different crate, to make a new, different recipe. Let's see. Vinyl Touch. I'm drawing a blank for a second. What's the IEMs you're talking about? Probably when you explain, I'm like, oh, of course, that's what you meant. So let me know. IEM. Serato. DJ Larry says Serato stems updates they're taking more of the computer CPU to use. Have they updated it? Updated it? Oh, sorry. Got you, Vinyl Touch. In-ear monitors. I hardly use them. And for me, it's very simple. I'm a pretty hands-on. I don't even know if that's the right word. When it comes to my mixing and headphones, I'm very much of a on-off type of DJ. I love to be able to hear what's happening in the monitor and on my ears. Sometimes double, most of the times nothing. Bring it back. With in-ears, I don't have that option because they're in the ear, both of them all the time. They also take some of the ambiance away. Now, I know when you go to certain models, better in-ear monitors, they'll give you an option to either have some of the sound basically leak in, so you get some of that. But that's holding me back. I have to add, I do certain gigs where basically I need to have in-ears. Those are not my DJ gigs, but those are certain gigs I do with brain power. So for instance, a couple weeks ago, we did a gig, and this was not like a brain power gig. We were like a special guest, like a featured guest within a larger show. And this was a show with like a full band, like 15 people at least on stage, all sorts of different artists adding on, doing a couple songs together, you name it. everything there monitoring wise went with belt packs. So meaning wireless. You have a belt pack that receives the audio, your monitor mix. The only way you can hear that monitor mix is by plugging in headphones into the belt pack. If you're standing on stage and you're rocking one of these, that's going to look very weird. Plus, this doesn't really help with catching the sound the right way. In-ear monitors are going to do a much better job because they will isolate and just give you that perfect sound. You can really hear the monitor mix. And it doesn't look weird when you're standing in front of the stage. Now, I don't have proper in-ear monitors that you see the artists use, but I do have a set of Pioneer in-ear monitors for DJs. I've had those for years. And while I'm talking, I'm thinking like, aren't they here? Because I unpacked my bags in a hurry a couple of times. I'm looking around to see because I think they should be here in the studio. Even though I don't want to move around crazy because then the cam's going to follow me. See, that's what I'm talking about. The cam's going to follow me. The camera's going to follow me. No, I don't see him. But I have a set of like Pioneer in-ear monitors that I can use. But I do know I do want to get a set. But in my case, it wouldn't be for DJing at first. It would be for some of the Brainpower shows because we also did a couple of band shows before that with our own band, his own band, I should say. And all of those musicians are so used to working with in-ears. The whole mix is coming in through in-ears. And it makes sense for me to have them then. So I am looking at getting a set. So there's one company called Ultimate Ears that make very pricey but dope in-ear sets. And they have one of those sets that has the option to allow you to get some of the stage ambiance, the stage sound in. Because another thing, when you're standing on stage and you have like in-ears, they block out the sound. But they also block out the sound from the audience. And I've noticed whenever we use in-ears, it always feels as if the crowd wasn't that into it. When a lot of times the crowd was really into it, but you're not feeling their energy the same because you're not really hearing them. So I would like to have in-ear monitors that can give me at least some of that sound coming in. I know those Ultimate Ears have it. So that is one brand I'm looking at. But there's also a brand here, a company here in the Netherlands. Unfortunately, I cannot remember the name at this moment. I have it somewhere stored in my browser. They make custom in-ears, and they also have an option to get some of that outside sound to come in. So yes, I am looking at getting that mostly for the Brainpower shows when we need to wear belt packs and have the in-ears. But of course, once I have them, I will also experiment to see if I might enjoy it for certain DJ things. So for the live streams, I could imagine scenarios where I might want to do a live stream at a time that's not that convenient to have these KRKs we were just talking about blasting very early in the morning, for instance. Because if I ever want to do a live stream that is at like late at night for my US people, I would have to do it like early in the morning here in Amsterdam. Can't make sound then. Or if I want to get a different time slot, I might have to do one very late at night here during a weekday. Can't make sound, a lot of noise then either. Then I want to mix in headphones, and I can mix in these, but maybe in in-ears it sounds even better. I'll give that a test if I ever get those. All right. Oh, let's see. Serato stems that we got that one. Nicholas Sugars on Facebook. Salute. Good evening. I'm a DJ, but I don't use headphones because all my songs are analyzed. Cued. That does it really make sense? I think. Unless you're also just using the screen. Let me see. I know where all my cue points are, and I know my music really well, and I play really good without it. But some DJs I work with told me that I should use it because that's what DJs do. And some were just surprised that I don't use it and like how I make great clean transitions and song selections when I play without it. What's your view on using headphones? So first off, if this works for you and you're making all these clean transitions, then this is what you do. Never start to, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where some people think like, hey, what will other DJs think? And in your case, other DJs have told you you should use headphones because this is what DJs do. To me, that doesn't make sense. If you don't need them, don't use them. I have a but in this case. So I'm adding that comma, and let's get into the but. But if you don't use headphones or even like maybe in-ear monitors, because at first people weren't using in-ear monitors, just normal headphones. If you don't use any type of cueing device and you're just standing there making all these clean transitions, it might appear to some of the audience, but especially to other DJs, it might appear as if you're not DJing live. They might assume you're just playing some pre-recorded set, because for a lot of people, it doesn't seem logical that you can do all of that without headphones. I know it's possible to a degree, even though I have to add, it doesn't sound very plausible to me that you would know where all your cue points are in all your music, or you don't have a very large music collection. Because if you have a pretty large music collection, it would seem very difficult to actually memorize where all of your cue points are. But to your first point, you said you don't use headphones because all your songs are analyzed. That doesn't really make sense, because the one doesn't really add on to the other. Even if they're analyzed, you still might have to cue to listen. Also, it depends on what type of music you're playing. For instance, if you're playing older music that's played live, like some old funk or soul or something, that music isn't quantized. So it doesn't stay on beat. Sync doesn't work, you name it. If you don't monitor, it's going to be really hard to get that mix to work right. If you're doing all of that monitoring just over the speakers, it can be tricky depending on where you're playing and how good the system is there. So yeah, again, I could not imagine myself playing without headphones, because I always need to hear what I'm doing before I bring it in. My music is analyzed, but I also know that when my music is analyzed, that the information I see is not always right. Sometimes the BPM isn't really correct. I don't use sync or anything. I want to hear how it sounds together before I bring it in, but that's me. But if it's working for you, you could do it, but just keep that in mind. It might look as if something else is going on. If they don't see any monitoring happening, they might assume that you're just playing a pre-recorded set. You could just say, I don't care, and you're perfectly right. You don't have to care, but just know that that is something that comes with the territory. How do you feel about QSC powered speakers for DJing? Right now I'm using two JBL Eon G2 15s with two EV12 subs. I played on some OCS 2 weeks ago and I was blown away. I have no experience with that. I don't know. So Brian, I'm sorry, I have no experience with that. I cannot chime in on that one. King Complex says KRK and Mackie monitors are a phenomenal party inbox for the bedroom. Yeah, I mean they work great here. I mean, these are like basically a little bit too big if you just need some speakers in your bedroom for DJing. They have a 5 and a 7. This is the 8. So larger everything. But the one thing that I was kind of missing here for me when it comes to monitoring was actually the low end. NS10s basically don't have low end. Now they will give you a very clear picture of what's going on in your mix if you're like mixing a track. The Pioneers that have the RM7s have a nice sound to them. But when it comes to like low end, these are on a different level for sure. And they have improved immensely since when they first arrived on the scene, because at first I do believe that the earlier generations of the Rockets were just too bass heavy. I think they did fix that. They also have all sorts of settings on the back. They come with an app that allows you to analyze, hear how it sounds, and suggests which setting you should use for your current setup. And as far as I can tell now, I really like what they do. Have they fixed the Mixcloud chat bug yet on Restream? No, unfortunately, and that's one thing, and I don't think that's up to Restream. I think that's up to Mixcloud, and it's one of the things that annoys me the most. Mixcloud still isn't in that chat. I hardly get any chat activity on my Mixcloud, to be honest, but I think that could be improved if all of the chat messages from here also appear in that Mixcloud chat box, and they can feel that something is actually going on. That's the cool thing about this. I know that the people on YouTube see the Twitch comments, vice versa, you name it. And that's a dope thing. And of course, for me, it makes it a lot easier if I could see everything in one place. I used to use their, wait, hold up. Let me go back. T-Babs, that's about the title thing, I think. Yeah. I used to use the streaming service on Serato, but canceled when I wasn't getting songs I needed. I mean, I love BeatSource. I also have Tidal. I have to assume that Tidal still has way more tracks even than BeatSource. But the thing about BeatSource is that I can search by BPM and stuff like that, and you can't do that with Tidal. But in some cases, I will have a playlist in Tidal, and I can just use Soundees to then sync it up with BeatSource, which also works. But I haven't looked at Tidal that much lately. I've heard of scratch DJs using Gorilla Snot instead of spit in order to grip the records, but does that ruin the records or needles? Gorilla Snot. I have not heard of this one. I have not heard of this one before. I'm gonna have to Google that after this broadcast. And Six says, I just signed up for Tidal. Is it pretty easy to use in Serato with stems and all that? I mean, that should just work. Stems should work with all of that music. I know it works with the music from BeatSource. So I believe so. But the only thing is, like I said, like when you're making, for instance, if you want to make a playlist, I think you have a little bit more options in BeatSource for searching for songs just with the BPM and stuff. And of course, BeatSource will have intros, outros, and sometimes instrumentals, acapellas. Even though with stems, you could do that live, but quality acapellas, instrumentals, and then intros, BeatSource will have that. Tidal will not have that. Who ate my sandwich in the building? Salute, salute, salute. How much different are in-ear monitors than like Apple EarPods Pro, which has noise canceling features? I mean, when you turn your noise canceling on your AirPods Pro, you do have kind of that same effect that really the outside noise gets blocked. I always turn that on as soon as I hit the gym. I never use noise canceling outside of the gym. I always have them on transparency mode just because I want to be aware of my surroundings and hear stuff. But as soon as I enter the gym, I need no distractions. I work out by myself. I don't want any distractions. I hate the music that's played in the gym. So as soon as I get into the gym, hit that phone, noise canceling, and it's all gone. And then I just either have an audiobook during warm-up or just go straight to music. Your in-ears kind of do that as well. They do cancel out the noise very well, especially if you get the Pro version. So, for instance, I have a set of ear plugs that are custom made. So those were made years ago. I had to go to a specialist and they measure your ear canal. So they inject your ear with like a solution, and that hardens real quick, and they pull it out, and then you can see what your ear canal looks like. And then they make your earplug in that same shape so it fits your ear perfectly. And that really blocks the outside sound. If you get good in-ear monitors, and if I'm going to get those, let's say the ones from that custom brand here in the Netherlands, or the Ultimate Ears, you also have to send in your analyzed ear, your results, your what your ear canal looks like, because you're going to get them to perfectly fit. So they will also cancel out the noise, but they just fit way better than anything else because they're made for your ear. How much should a beginner DJ charge for a 2-3 hour gig with a mobile setup? I have no idea, and I don't think there's one answer for that. Simply for the fact that DJ prices are going to be different in every city, area, state, province, country, continent. I have no idea. Probably depends on what kind of function it is. I'm pretty sure that birthdays and weddings, even if they're the same amount of hours, might have totally different rates as well. And I'm not a mobile DJ, so I have no clue. Also, for mobile DJs, it's a totally different ball game because most of the times you're going to be bringing all of the equipment as well. I don't know if there are mobile DJs here in the chat right now that can help you out. And even if there are mobile DJs that have been playing for a while, they might still not be able to answer this for your specific area. So you might need to do some research first off, just to know what are mobile DJs in your area charging for similar events. And are those the pro companies? Are these other beginners? Not to say that you're going to charge the same as them, but you need to have at least a grasp on the situation. So for instance, let's say I'm a DJ starting out now here in Amsterdam, and I want to play at clubs, and I want to know how much I should charge. It would be a good idea if I had a clue of what's currently happening here. Let's say I find out that for the clubs here, most of the hip hop R&B guys, when they play at those and those party, they get, I'm gonna just name a number, they get $350 for an hour, to play an hour. If that is the rate that they're getting, and I'm just a beginner DJ, most likely that's not the rate I can charge. Now, most likely they wouldn't book me for those same slots as the DJs that already play there. But at least that would let me know that I probably shouldn't be charging $500 an hour if I'm just starting out. You know? So you need to have at least an idea of what is happening. But again, I don't know. That's going to be different in a lot of different places. And I'm not a mobile DJ. Who ate my sandwich with that sub 8 months in a row? I appreciate that support. Much love, much love. And Vinyl Touch says earpods wireless, the delay due to Bluetooth is a def non-starter. I was not even reacting as in to use AirPod Pros for DJing. I was just responding to the noise cancellation part. Because no, you cannot use Bluetooth in-ears for monitoring. Now, you do have some devices that will allow you to wirelessly monitor, but that's something totally different than a Bluetooth set. I mean, even if I have these in and I want to use iMachine on my phone or iPad to make a beat, I'm already dealing with a crazy delay. Like when I hit the pad, like before I hear the sound, we're like a couple of milliseconds or half a second ahead in time. So no, that would not work for DJing. So I'm sorry, maybe I misread the question. I thought the question was just about the noise cancellation part of it. Dark King Show, salute. Mad Live, salute. And Dark King Show, we're talking about anything DJ related. Anything. I've tried the Shure SE215s. They sound decent. Heard about those. I checked Mojax's video from a while back. I think he went through those as well. But But like I said, if I would get some, I at least want to make sure I get some custom ones that will truly fit. Don't I have my ear plugs here? All right, let's see. Hopefully I can fool the cam. Let's see what happens. I cannot fool my cam, damn it. By the way, that's my Insta360 Link. They make super dope action cams and stuff, and this is not a sponsor. I bought this right here. But for my Share the Knowledge podcast live stream, I did not want to continue to use the same setup as for my other stream, because every time I had to take like my main cam that's set up right off screen here, that's pointing at the DJ set, and I would have to change it for the live stream, for the Share the Knowledge live stream, change everything up. I was like, no, you know what? I want to have one dedicated cam for my Share the Knowledge stuff to use by my desk, and sometimes I might have it here or there. And I've tried different webcams in the past, and they're just never that great. This is a webcam. Now, mind you, it's not cheap. I think it's like $300, so that's a lot for a webcam. But I do feel that this is better than any webcam I've seen before, and it has some tricks up its sleeve as well, including the face tracking feature, which works really well. So, for instance, if I want to point out my camera for the other live stream, I can just point that out and that cam will follow me. Now, it was dark over there, so you couldn't really see it, but it works really well. I was looking for the plugs. I don't see them. Just wanted to show you what that custom earplug looks like. But okay, never mind. Didn't see it here. Oh, let's see. There's always a case for headphones, though. If your songs aren't analyzed / set up correctly, or if you're playing in big venues with a no onstage monitors. Hey, I'll get to that in a second. Not even a big venue, but I've been through this recently. There's notable delay with the sound. You're probably gonna be watching the screen constantly. So again, that is a great point. Just the first part about if you're in a bigger venue and there's not proper monitoring in the booth, even if you know your tracks and you know your cues, your mind's going to play tricks with you when you throw a track in, but there's a delay. Your ears will get accustomed to what's coming out of the speaker. So just imagine that, right? You're listening to the sound coming from the speaker because you don't use headphones. So Vinyl Touch, I'm glad you added this because this is a great point. And I've been in this situation as well. If you're in a large venue and there's no monitor in your DJ booth, the only sound you're hearing is coming from the speakers in the venue. If it's a large venue, there's going to be a delay in sound. You don't really notice that when you're just listening to the sound. So if you're listening to the speakers, your brain gets accustomed to that sound and you're hearing that beat. Now, if you hear that beat going like this, and now you want to bring your new track in on the one, and you bring it in on that, you're off now. Because that sound that you heard already played like half a second before, but there's a delay. You're going to need headphones for that in order to hear. And I mean, I've played in venues where just to hear it, I would turn the monitor off and then just hear it in my headphones, or turn the monitors down, because if the monitor is loud enough, I just hear the monitor. Turn the monitor down, and the delay between my monitor speaker and the sound for the audience was basically like this. If this is your snare, ta was ta 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 ta. That much. That's a lot. That's a large delay. So if you're only listening to those speakers and you don't have a monitor in your booth, you're going to miss your mark every time, or you're going to have to be totally fixated on your screen watching that wave file. Okay. There we go. You could do that. It's probably going to be a bit nerve-wracking. It's probably also not a good look if you don't have headphones and you're just staring at your computer. So that's a great point. But yeah, I played a gig a couple of weeks ago. I was in Germany doing a gig, and this was a smaller venue, but still, there were no monitors in the DJ booth. This was an all vinyl set. Yeah, so I brought my vinyl, which was cool to do. Don't get me wrong, it was cool to do, even though it was not totally fair because the DJ that played after us was just playing on Serato. But that's a different story. We were playing on vinyl, and there's no monitor in the DJ booth. Now, the speakers were not that far away, so it wasn't a case of a delay, but the sound from those speakers was pretty harsh and loud. That's not a great way to mix. You want to have that sound a lot closer to you. So yeah, man, I had to do an entire set on vinyl with no monitor. Uh-huh. And V Squared says using no headphones works when you constantly perform the same set. Yeah, that's going to make it a lot easier. But even then, if you're in a large room, you will have to really depend on your waveforms to make sure that you hit your cues on time. Let's see. DJ Leo, best way to start DJ set and the best way to go in and out of house music. The best way to start your DJ set. I don't know if there is a best way. Een Il Connect. Goedenavond. A best way to start. I don't know. I think that really depends on what type of event you're playing at. Also, what your time slot is. Does it require like some special intro or not? Or is it just better to just make a smooth transition between you and the last DJ? I think it all depends. I don't know if I have the best tips to go in and out of house music, by the way, because that's not really my thing. Even though I do play at parties and have played at parties where I can play anything I like, and then sometimes I might end up within the 120 to 130 BPM range and get into some at least UK garage, but maybe even some other house music. That has happened and can happen. But then I'll always find a creative way to make my way back either down to a different BPM or I find something in a different genre that fits the same BPM. I even did that at my last event, my last gig. I think that was that last week? Yeah. I knew from the briefing that the DJ that played after me was going to play UK garage. I was doing like throwback hip hop R&B. So I knew he was going to go UK garage. So during the last like 10 minutes of my set, I started to take my tempo up. And I think the last song I played was Thong Song. And if I'm not mistaken, that BPM is already going upwards of getting close to a 120. I don't know if I had to speed it up to get there or if it's already there, but was it like a higher BPM already just to get ready for him to transition and he could just mix in his first garage track. But as far as your opener, I think it all depends on when you play and what you're supposed to be doing. I've had sets where my opening track is actually a slower type of track, and slower as in tempo and energy, because I felt that the DJ before me had the energy at a level that was way too high. That is not exactly the same thing as the rookie DJ playing all the hits, but it was pretty close to it. I was playing prime time. The DJ before me was supposed to just get that level up there, and this dude just dropped hit after hit after hit after hit after hit, kept on raising that energy level. I could just continue from where that DJ left it, but then I put myself in a very difficult predicament, because that means I have to go up, but we're already there. It's really hard to maintain that energy for your entire set. So instead of falling into that trap, I decided to start my set way down there. Now, I'm not talking about a slow jam or something like totally unfamiliar. I don't know. I don't remember which track I used, but I picked something that I knew the audience would get. It was actually a pretty big track, but it had a totally different lower energy. And the way to do that is not to just mix it in. I actually just echoed out that track. And I think at that event, there was an MC who just made an announcement, and I just did a simple cut. Started with a scratch at a higher tempo and slowed it down while the MC was talking, and then brought that track in. They loved the track, but now I had them at this level, on that vibing level again, which allows me to go there. Sometimes if it's ready to go and the DJ before you has it at a nice level, but now it's time to totally turn it up, I might want my first track to actually be on some like, let's go. Could be some type of ill party break, or maybe I start with something with a scratch and then bring in an incredible banger. But it's going to be different every time. So I can never say like, hey, start your set with this. That's going to be great. How often do you update your firmware on the Rev 7? I just recently updated mine after having it for 4 months. I try to check as often as I can. So I hadn't had the Rev 7 here. It's back. If you were here on Sunday, you could see it. It's finally back. And I used it last week for my gig. I had it back the day before that. Didn't have time to use it before that, but the only thing I made sure I did is I started it up, connected my laptop, and made sure everything was up to date. And yeah, I mean, most of the times I'll see either on IG or somewhere, I'll see an announcement like, hey, new firmware, new update, new whatever, and then I know. But make it a habit to check at least every like month or two, just to make sure. And DJ 312 says SK83. My bad. Salute to the homie. Doesn't use headphones. He once played a house set on Twitch with songs I provided to him, and he didn't know. He used my cue points, and the set was amazing. I mean, yes, you can, and I don't want to say, yes, I am going to say with house, it's even easier than with hip-hop and R&B just because of the drum patterns. Look, if the tracks are analyzed with house music and you know your BPM is correct, it's not the hardest thing in the world to mix without headphones, of course. I do have to add, even though I haven't heard him play in a while, I do know SK also incorporates like little routines. So certain routines and mini mixes that he has done before. And if you have certain things that you've done before, then it's going to make it a lot easier to do them without headphones. And I mean, someone else also stated here, like if you look at like DMC battles, there's no headphones involved there either because people just know they have their cue point set. They have prepped it. I think Vinyl Touch said it. They prepped their set so they don't need headphones for that. So it can be done, of course. I don't know if SK never uses headphones, by the way. I'm pretty sure I've seen him use headphones or in-ears in the past, but it could be that he doesn't use them anymore. D-Boy, what up, man? So yes, it is possible. So Vinyl Touch has a question. Is Mixcloud Live a flop? I don't know because I don't really have their stats when it comes to like how many people actually use it. So I have my Mixcloud open here as well. Oh, wait. Was there someone in the chat that I didn't shout out? Damn, I didn't shout you out. DJ Sauce, I see you. Salute. But I have to go to my Mixcloud page to actually see if someone is in the chat. But Mixcloud, real quick, let me see. If I go to live right now to see what's live right now, I see some people with 6 and 10 viewers. I see one with 114, one with 60, one with 27, 22. Okay, that's very low. I do remember like a while ago, I would always see a couple people that would have like hundreds. Right now, I don't really see a lot of people above like 10 or 20, some with 100. So the thing is, I think there is an active little, I don't want to call them community. There are DJs still active on Mixcloud. I use it because it is the one and only like legal place to do it. And I was using Mixcloud before I used their live streaming service. I still use it for my mixes. So if you miss my Sunday sessions, live streams, catch all the replays, audio replays on my Mixcloud, mixcloud.com/DJ TLM. I think the problem is they still don't really have a proper community. Most people did not make the switch to Mixcloud because most DJs did not make the switch to Mixcloud. And again, I see that in the chat all the time as well. Like there's not a lot happening in the chat. Where can I see my step? Okay, so I have 10 viewers on Mixcloud right now as far as I can see here. So to all my people on Mixcloud, salute. But I do notice that on Mixcloud, people are not ever active in the chat. I also remember like 2 years ago, they were talking about adding some of the features that we see on Twitch, like raids and stuff like that. I don't think any of that has been implemented. So I have no idea how much of a priority the whole live streaming thing has. I think they did it at that time because the pandemic just happened and they just noticed like, okay, this is the time that people are starting to stream. I think this is when they jumped in, which was the right move. And probably they weren't really ready to do it at that time, but I'm not sure. I don't have any knowledge behind the scenes. But I think it would have helped them to add some of the stuff. Same thing with like the Restream chat app. Restream can stream to all of these platforms. I see all of the chat messages in my Restream chat app, not Mixcloud. And I've missed like some people, like the 1 or 2 people who would leave a reply on Mixcloud. Sometimes I would miss them because I wouldn't have like a web browser open and I don't see them in my Restream chat app. Small things like that. So is it a flop? I don't know, because I don't think people had the highest hopes when it came out. But it's not popping. I mean, the same thing goes for Twitter. I stream to Twitter. Used to do it through Periscope, which was under Twitter. Periscope is not there anymore, but now Twitter does it themselves. They have their Twitter live. I stream there all the time. I don't think anyone really checks that. Not just my stream, but live streams, because they don't check for you don't get DMCAs there either. You don't get flagged, because I can leave my video replay up there and nothing ever happens. But I can't see that any like activity there either. I do see that people watch there, and if I leave something on and I come back a week later, I can see like sometimes like 100 or 150 people came in to watch it. But there's no real community there, which is weird, because on Twitter I think you could build that, but I don't think they pay any attention to that part of Twitter. Overall thoughts on stems in Serato. I think it's a dope feature. I love using it, especially during my live stream, Zeta DJ. I love using it. It allows me to be even more creative with transitions and make them cleaner, because you can even if you just take drums out on one track, your transition already is cleaner because now you don't have to mix drums. Don't do it all the times, but it's cool to have as an option. It doesn't sound perfect, of course, but we're dealing with like real-time separation, which is by itself mind-blowing that is something we can just do real time. Not like software and we upload or enter a track and now we have to change settings, hit click so it processes and then you get like stems. No, on the fly, I load a track into DJ software, I can click a button and have just the acapella. It's crazy, amazing. But it doesn't sound perfect at all. On some tracks, it sounds really good. Some tracks, it sounds good. And a lot of tracks, it sounds okay. But it's so much fun for just that little on-the-spot extra thing you can do. You know, during the last live stream as well, I think I did like 3 just quick 16-bar remixes where I just grabbed one of my own beats and just in the middle of a song, before I even mixed in the next song, I just took out the beat, just had the acapella, played one of my own beats, made a new remix, then took my beat out, load the next track, and go into the actual mix. To be able to do that on the fly is just super dope. And will Spotify ever come on Serato? No. No, I think we can just say no. Like Spotify was the first. They were the first. Algorithm DJ and Spotify. No other DJ software was doing this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this was years ago. I was using this years and years and years ago. My oldest son is 15, almost 16. I was using this at his school parties when he was like 6 or 7. And I would bring a controller to play at their school party for the young kids, bring a controller, and I had Spotify. And I could play all the kiddie tunes and anything they asked for, I had it because Spotify had it all. And then all of a sudden they came with their announcement, hey, we're stopping this. I don't think they'll go back. I don't think they have much to gain in that space unless they find a way to monetize it. And then if they find a way to monetize it, it'll probably be available in all DJ software the next day, you know, but I don't think that's happening. Unfortunately, I think mobile gig prices depend on your market. In my city, people don't want to pay more than $300 for a couple of hours. But in like Minneapolis, Minnesota, DJs are charging $1,000 plus. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's why I definitely don't want to give advice on that because I have no idea at all about those prices. And that's an incredible difference already. That's crazy. Omar Melgar, salute. Mick P, salute. All well over here for sure. What do you think about the stems feature on the Rain 4 and Pioneer Flex 10? Which one is the better controller? The stems feature, well, first off, the stems feature is not a feature on those controllers. Of course, it's a feature in the software, but those controllers offer you like actual buttons for it. It's cool. I have not used the Rain yet, so I can't make a comparison. I had the Flex 10 here for a couple of weeks, did a couple of live sets with it. Stems with Record Box was not a good experience now. Just the quality is just not there yet. The next stream I used a Serato, and of course those stems were a lot better. But the Flex 10 is a very nice controller. It is the replacement of the DDJ 1000, and I love that controller. Flex 10 is basically that with a couple new add-ons. So I really liked it as a controller, even though I had a couple of issues with the jog wheels, and I will get it back and I'll test that some more. But the Rain stuff I've not tested. That's been a long-going issue with me and Rain. We had good communications, and somewhere that got lost. A lot of people got fired there as well. So I had a new contact, and then I had a new contact, and then they were going to send some stuff, and then that didn't happen. And now I have to check again to see if that contact is still there. Yeah, a lot of people lost their jobs with a lot of those companies in the last couple of years as well. So I have not tested Rain stuff in quite some time, when before I was actually getting all of that and testing it. I saw your new Insta page about online DJ education. Makes me curious. What can you tell us about that? D-Boy, not much. It's just the page that I made already to have it there for when I ever get around to making my first online DJ course. And that's basically what that page will be dedicated to. Any advice for someone who first learning split hearing? Sometimes it sounds like chaos, and it's hard to know what to slow down and speed up. News Daily, I get you. That's something you really have to practice. For me, I chose, I don't know, it depends on what type of music you play, but for hip hop and R&B especially, I always chose to focus mainly on the snare drum. And first off, you just have to make sure you listen to the snare drum on both tracks, because most likely they won't sound exactly the same. So you can clearly hear, okay, this is the snare drum from this track. And what I would normally do is I would have it, let's say I have both, the headphones just covering both ears. I'm listening strictly in the headphones. I would move between the two decks to hear if that snare was at the same place. I was focusing on this snare, and if I would move to the other deck to hear the other deck, if I did not hear that snare at the exact same point, that would allow me to hear like, okay, oh, that snare came in a little earlier than this snare. So first you got to get into the rhythm of one track, focus on that snare, and then you got to quickly see, does the other snare of the other track fall at the exact same point? No, it didn't. Did that snare come earlier or later? And that's something you just have to practice over and over. I don't have a special trick for that. In the beginning, I found that pretty difficult as well. And sometimes I would then slow it down when I was supposed to speed it up and practice. For those who follow me on IG, y'all saw my post earlier today about practice. It's so important. And I still receive a ton of messages about that. Like, hey, I'm trying this, but it's not working. And most times they just haven't practiced long enough. And for some, certain techniques will come faster than for others. Most of the times, the answer is just you need more practice. You have to put in more time. What's a good slow opener? Jackal, what genre are we talking about? And then again, it still matters at what point are you bringing this in. So slow opener, the opener of your set, but are you the opening DJ, or is it a situation like I explained where someone is at a too high of an energy point and you have to bring it down? So that even that depends. I never have like a go-to track for any situation. Mostly I think of tracks on the spot by just scrolling through my crates. That's because I don't have sets prepared, so I'm always just scrolling. DJ Jump Off, salute. Got you. I'm gonna get to my inbox right after this stream. Get to my inbox right after this stream and record that straight away. AC1 Music, salute. Leon Billups, I see you. Salute. What time is it, by the way? Damn. Time flies. Who do you think was the last scratch DJ to be super innovative? I don't know. I run into plenty of random clips on IG where I hear DJs scratching, and some of them sound super dope. But I can't remember when I heard a DJ. The last time I heard a DJ that made me say like, whoa, this is something I've never heard before. So I don't know. No. And I may have not been paying enough attention to the turntablist scene to answer that. Every DJ uses monitoring. It's just whether they use it to prep in advance and or if they use it live. Okay. Where monitoring could be headphones or speakers. Armorera was good. Hey, you're late, but you're here. Quick question. Have you checked out any of the Christian rap or R&B? Some of them are super dope. Over the years, now and then I've heard some, but no, not a lot. Not a lot at all. Damn, what's his name again? I remember one cat that I heard a couple of tracks from like years ago, and like a super dope MC. Like just within any subgenre of rap music, there's gonna be the talented, skilled cats, the lyrical dudes or gals that can make stuff that sounds super dope. So yeah, but I'm trying to think of the name. No, I don't remember the name. Barker Wall was good. A lot of Twitch DJs spoke to Mixcloud and advised them it needed the community aspect of Twitch to succeed. Yeah. And I don't think they listened, but they didn't act on it. And again, I remember like Cleveland Terry had that interview with the Mixcloud CEO like 2 years at least ago. And he was talking about all of the changes they were going to add, but I don't think they've added any of them. At least it doesn't feel like they've added anything that can build community more. Any idea why Spotify hasn't offered a hi-fi tier yet? No, actually, I don't. So for people who don't know, Tidal, for instance, offers you a normal subscription, but they also have a hi-fi tier. You pay a bit more, but then they give you higher quality audio. Now, mind you, I don't think that will help a lot if you only listen on your phone, or if you listen to like, just like an average system. You would need some higher end gear to take full advantage of hi-fi, high fidelity audio. Is monetization the problem for Spotify or license issues? Every stream is tracked by them, so they could easily make a point for money by streams. I think the biggest issue is pirating songs for mixes. I'm not sure how that works. I'm not sure. I mean, I would assume that should be possible, but I'm not sure. 6, what I have here is a Monster Energy Zero Sucru, which really sounds like it's a can imported from Turkey. Lewis Hamilton edition. I ran past a convenience store here, which is like a tourist shop, which I never go into, with way too bright lights and 100,000 different cans. And I grabbed something because I just needed to have something. It doesn't say anything else. Wait, what does it say here? Oh, no, that's that. I don't think that's Turkish. I think that's Polish or something right here. Looking at this. Sounds like it's like Eastern European or something like that. But yeah, that's what it is. I've never had this before. Chris on the mix is a Christian DJ, and yes, there's a lot of fire artists. Pete says, can't be good for you at this age? What does that mean, bro? What does that mean? Let me know. Let's put it like this. There's a lot of things in this world that's probably not good for you. And I don't smoke. I don't drink. And I'm not a particularly unhealthy eater. So I think I'm perfectly fine with something like this every once in a while. Do you still practice on a regular? I just don't have enough time for it. I even said this yesterday. Like I still have a bunch of stuff on my to-do list, like technique wise, that I know need improvement. And a lot of times during my live streams, I feel I get repetitive when it comes to certain scratches where I want to expand my skill set. But that's going to take practice. That's going to take time. And I don't really have time to do that. Now, the live streams themselves, of course, are also practice. And not that I'm learning a lot of new techniques, but they are exercise and they do keep you sharp. So, for instance, even if I would not have a booking, let's say I don't have a booking in the next 4 months, but I stream every week. If I get that first booking after 4 months, it's not as if I haven't played for 4 months because I've been playing every week. So I'm basically fit and in playing condition. So that's not really practicing, but it is keeping my skills on a certain level. But yes, there's a ton of stuff I would still like to add to that skill set. So hopefully at a certain point, I will find some slots where I can start to work on that. But I also know I have to like build an actual regimen, training regimen to specifically practice certain techniques. So if I want to get better in this case, so same thing with like working out. You can work out and just overall feel more healthy, more agile, you name it. For me currently, that's like my workouts are just strictly on becoming more fit, more mobile, gain strength, you name it. At a certain point, you might have a certain weakness within your body, and then you have to just target that specifically. With my stuff as well, like for certain scratches, if I know I have to improve that, if I can find the time, then I need to totally dedicate that time to work on just that technique and not mess around. Because when I first learned how to DJ and scratch, I was doing just a bunch of stuff and never really had a specific training regimen. Now I know that I have to really take advantage of my time. So whenever I have time, I have to really, really focus on certain things. Let's see. Pete says, you were my first YouTube channel I subscribed to when I started DJing 2016. Hey, I'm glad I could help, man. I'm glad I could help. That's always dope to hear. And Pete says, I stopped drinking Red Bull during my shows because I started to feel it wearing on me. I mean, hey, that's the thing. Like with everything, you have to just make sure you don't get too much. Because I've been there as well. That I had like certain times when I was DJing a lot, but I was also drinking crazy amounts of Red Bull. By the way, Armorera, Lecrae, that's the one. I see it come by. That's the one I meant. That's the one I ran into then. Really dope. But yeah, like drinking a lot of Red Bulls. And what I noticed at a certain point is it didn't give me energy anymore. I felt tired, but I wouldn't fall asleep. That doesn't help at all. So now I'm kind of off that. I have to watch my the amount of caffeine I get in. So I try to only get it in at certain times. So with my pre-workout before I work out, and like in this case now, this one, but that's it. Otherwise, I won't be able to sleep at night either. Let's see. Given your current knowledge and experience, if you were starting your career from scratch today, what be things you would avoid and do more to succeed? See, Vinyl Touch, I've been thinking about this for quite some time, and I feel I need to start talking to DJs who basically got in the game and succeeded recently, so in the last couple of years, because things have definitely changed. And even though I've been around for a long time, like my last 20 years, I haven't focused on starting a career, and I haven't paid too much attention to see how other DJs have done it. Now, first off, of course, one thing I know for sure is that social media is a thing that wasn't there when I started, and that is a great tool to help you to possibly build a fan base or at least network. That is something you just have now. The tutorials and stuff that is here available now that wasn't available when I started is great. Take advantage of that. But I do think that DJs that start out now shouldn't just focus on online, and also still keep in mind that actually networking in person is important. But I have to actually talk to some new DJs about that to see what they did and how they did it, because I come from that era where you were just practicing at home, and I never even had the ambition to become like a club DJ. That is something I rolled into. I just loved playing music, and I would be behind the decks all day. And at a certain point, I got my first offer to like, hey, we're doing this party at the local youth center. We have a dance hall and R&B DJ. Would you like to play the hip hop? Because we always hear you play the hip hop. I have my speakers outside all the time, you name it. So I kind of rolled into that and then experienced playing through loudspeakers. And I was like, oh, okay, this is way doper than playing at home. I want to do this. Still not having any ambition of becoming like a DJ who plays in all sorts of big clubs. That was never my ambition. I just love DJing. But then I went down the route of making mixtapes and promoting myself through selling mixtapes, giving mixtapes to certain people, and just being a part of the scene here, which allowed me to go places. But that, of course, has changed to a certain degree, even though I do feel you probably can still get things done, but not with mixtapes and walking around with tapes, but through the newer outlets. But no, I have to start talking to some youngins to see how they did it in the last couple of years. What would you do on repeating songs? since or have a crowd that go in and out. Oh, okay, got you. AC1 Music. Is it usually just playing guilty pleasures in the party cafe? It's usually just playing guilty pleasures in the party cafe. Would it matter if you repeat the songs since people are not staying all night? I don't think it matters. I mean, that totally depends on the situation. Like that's something you can see. I have hardly any experience playing those type of venues. I played at one club, which I thought was a normal club, but it turned out that in that street, people would just be club hopping, and I could see the entire crowd changing, which was something that was totally new to me. Like, wait, these are totally different people than I had here before. Yes, basically, in that case, I know that I won't be playing the same song for the same people because it's a new crowd. So I think in that situation, that could definitely be something that could work. In a normal situation, I would never do it, but that is something totally different. So just experiencing that once made me see like, okay, this might require a different setup, because then like actually just building up and everything doesn't work either, because your crowd changes too fast. So even if you give them a nice little warm up, if they leave then and you get new people, you have to start all over. That's probably not going to be enough time to do that. So you might be better off just keeping that energy a little bit higher and maybe repeat certain hits. Yep. I'm DJing 5 to 6 nights a week now. Damn. I don't have time to practice. I just wing it and practice at the show. But hey, look, if you're playing that much, that is putting in the work. It is putting in the work. Even though you might be repeating the same techniques and not learning that much new techniques, you are learning a lot of other things as well. Not everything is done on the decks. Like reading the crowd is something you learn by playing for people. Every time you play for people, that brings you experience as well. You might try different stuff out when it comes to transitioning, how fast, how slow, you name it. Those are things you can't practice at home. So certain things are better to actually do during your gigs just by reacting to how people react to you. So yeah, if you're playing 5-6 nights a week, you are putting in work regardless. But if you want to learn certain new techniques, some stuff is better not to do while you're playing out live. I never used a lot of effects, but if I want to start using more effects, I need to spend time here to properly test and see how I could add them to make it work. That's not something I'm going to do during an actual gig. How many times a week do you hit the gym? I feel like a DJ practice schedule could be sorted out in the same routine for people that are busy. For me, currently, it is about 6 times a week. Yeah. Sometimes 7, but rest is important as well. So I'll go with the flow when it comes to that. Sometimes I can just feel like, all right, today I'm better off just not hitting the gym. And if that's what my body tells me, then that's what I'm doing. But I just know I love having the amount of activity in my life again. I feel way better when I'm working out. Just better, stronger. Also for stuff like DJing, like in the past, I've had some problems with my back, like years ago. Then I started to work out more. Then I never had back issues again until I had a time that I actually stopped working out for a while, and I could just feel like my core getting a little bit weaker and everything. And then all of a sudden, if you have long gigs or long hours, you're like, I'm feeling my back, especially my lower back a little bit. As soon as I work out more, all of that is out the window. So right now, that's really working for me. In the future, I might change that up a little bit. Still do like 6 times a week, but then maybe 3 times or 2 times a week, it will be more of actually just outside activity, which could be like cycling or stuff like that, instead of doing a gym session. All depends on what I feel like, or if I have a specific goal in mind. And News Daily, yeah, I might do that. The suggestion is you should stream yourself practicing new techniques. I will watch that. So maybe I'll do that, but it just depends on whenever I will have time to practice. Jackal says, any experience mixing RKT style reggaeton? I don't have a ton of reggaeton experience, to be honest. We had a little run here years ago where reggaeton was like getting a little bit more attention. That kind of died down again, even though if you look at a lot of our local urban / hip hop artists here, a lot of their production style incorporates a ton of different stuff. So you'll hear dancehall, reggaeton, Afro beats, influences within their hip hop style beats. But around that time that you had, what year was that? I'm thinking of which year that was. Around the time that you had like the Reggaeton Latino and Don Omar and all those cats with the hits. Those hits made it through here and were played at the clubs here as well. I think there's still parties where I see that certain DJs are playing it. I just don't hear it the same amount as I used to then. I only played a couple of tunes. Most of the times I would play dancehall and maybe add a couple of reggaeton tracks, but not that much myself. Any record pools that have 70s and 80s music, disco, freestyle, and old hip hop? Not a lot, because basically they're not allowed to do that. DJ pools, if they're doing their stuff legit, are there to basically promote the new promotional material from labels, new tracks for DJs, so the DJs can play the new songs from the artists. Some DJ pools had a lot of old school stuff. I know a lot less DJ pools have that now, I think because they saw that this might get them in trouble. Beat Junkies has a bit of a selection of that in there. I use Beat Junkies. I use DJ City. I know Beat Junkies has a little bit more of that old school. And otherwise, it's not a record pool, but a music source would be Beat Source. They will have more old stuff in there. A lot more. But you can't download that. You can only stream that in your DJ software or certain hardware, as we talked about earlier, that the CDJ 3000 is now able to also live stream the music. But currently just Beatport. My hopes will be that BeatSource is next. I'm about to end it, so let's just go through these last questions real quick. And how do you feel clubs that ask DJs to bring in people in order to play? I'm already a resident of a local bar. This other club in town asked if I want to play there. Wait, let me read that again. How do you feel clubs that ask DJs to bring in people in order to play? So in other words, they'll own. Oh wait, and when it came to payment and such, they asked DJs to bring in people. So I'm like, I'll think about it. Meaning, nope. I mean, I've heard about stuff like this before, that people that a club wants to book like a DJ, but if the DJ wants to play there, they have to bring in a certain amount of people. I know for me personally, that's not a thing. If you book me to come play, I'll come play. Of course, I don't mind like posting some on my IG to promote the party. Like, hey, I'm playing here, and hopefully that can help get a couple more people in. But I'm not an active promoter promoting a party, or I'm not going to guarantee like I'm going to have this amount of people coming in and only then can I play. So, yeah, I'm not really with that. I feel you. My answer would be nope. Leonzo was good. When somebody says new age, the jog wheel does... when somebody says new age, the jog wheel, does that mean that you're aligning the songs that waited 2 verse and chorus hit at the same time? Ooh. Leonzo, you get me with those questions all the time. Like, I have to reread these a couple of times before I'm sure I understand what it's saying. Somebody says new age, the jog wheel. Does that mean that you're aligning the songs that waited 2 verses and choruses hit at the same time? I'm not understanding the question, to be honest. Chat, help me out if you do, because I want to answer this last question before we can end this session, this Q&A session today. But I'm not translating this question right now. And we want to answer this last question. We want to end this stream the right way. Chat is not helping. Oleanzo, maybe you can put this in other words or add some extra context, because I might be just reading this wrong, adding the wrong words together, because I see New Age the jog wheel and I'm not sure what that means. And then aligning the songs that weighted two verses and choruses hit the same time. Yet no. I'm reading it again. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure I understand. So either add something to it or someone in the chat help out. Or otherwise we'll have to end the stream without answering this question, which would be a waste. In the meantime, let me open up my email real quick, because I've got to make sure I get don't leave here before I read the email about the shout. No one in the chat is helping out yet. No, dismiss. Okay. Okay, YT says, I think they meant not doing any scratching when bringing in the tracks. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Leonzo, help me out, buddy. Help me out, buddy. Yeah, YT, maybe that's what New Age the jog wheel means. That New Age, like New Age, the new gen doesn't scratch, so New Age the jog wheel means that you're not supposed to use the jog wheel and just bring it in with Q and start. I don't know. You might have something there. Leonzo, we're waiting for you, man. Help us out. Add some context to the question, or ask it in add some more info, because I really want to answer this for you. And you have an extra minute, because I need to scroll back through this chat for a second. Because I need to get some info out here real quick. So you have like a minute more. When my scroll gets back down to the bottom, we're going to end this stream. Oh, one rough weekend. I missed that. You said my Serato stopped working. Hardware failed to connect. Just don't load Pioneer. Damn, that's messed up. Is everything up to date? The CDJ's got the Pioneer. Oh wait, I said CDJ. I don't even know which Pioneer. It might be a controller. Failed to connect. I mean, let's be honest. Every software, every once in a while, can have like a glitch, or maybe something did happen to the USB cable. I've had that happen once the other day during a stream. Luckily, I just plugged it back in and I could continue. But these things can happen. All right, I'm going to scroll down now. Let's see. Okay, got you. So Leonzo says it was supposed to be nudged the jog wheel. That kind of changes everything compared to New Age the jog wheel. That New Age caught me like, wait, what does that mean? Okay, someone says nudge the jog wheel. Does that mean you're aligning the song? I mean, nudging the jog wheel is something you do. Fonzilla, salute. Nudging the jog wheel is something you do in order to align your track. So if you have both songs playing and the one song you want to mix in is playing a little bit too slow, you nudge it. So you give it a little nudge forward to catch up to the other track. This is what you do when you're beat matching. That is when nudging comes into play. I don't think that has anything to do with like the 2 verses or 2 choruses, but nudging is something you do to correct one of your songs. So it could be that you're giving it a little tap to slow it down, or you're nudging it forward to make the track go a little bit faster. And that's what you do during beat matching. So you can hear me talk about that as well in my mix tutorial series when I'm just beat matching. Like, hey, this track is playing. This track is playing. Even if they're playing at the same speed, if you can hear that the snares are not exactly falling at that same point, this one is a little bit too late. I have to give it a nudge forward to make sure that it's now playing at the exact same spot as the other song. So that's what the nudging the jog wheel means. You do that with your controllers, with jog wheels. You do that with your turntables, with your vinyl. You're also giving that a nudge. Some DJs don't do that. They'll grab the spindle in the middle and move that. I never do that before. But that is what that nudge is that they're talking about. So I hope you understand what I mean. That's it. We are overtime, I think. This was supposed to be 8 to 10. I know I started a little bit later, but as far as I can tell, we've been at it a little bit longer too now. So this was a lot of fun. Catch me here again on Sunday. Tune in, everyone. Tune in on Sundays for my Sunday sessions. Grace Radio back on Sunday with a lot of dope tracks, even though I have no idea what I'm going to play because I never know what I'm going to play. Is Sunday the vinyl edition? I think that's the next one. Follow me on Instagram. I'll post that in advance. But I'm here every Sunday with my Sunday sessions. And, of course, for more DJ talk, make sure you tune in next Wednesday for Share the Knowledge. It was a pleasure being here with y'all. I wish everyone a good day, morning, evening, night, whatever time it is where you're at. And all the lurkers listening, salute to you as well. All right? See you when I see you. Peace.